Oh, whoa. Hold on. What's up? First of all, hold on. First of all, what's going on, everybody? What's up? Happy Sunday. Listen, had a great workout this morning, dog, and I am absolutely ready to go, man. How's everybody doing, man? We good? Everybody good? Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. Got some playoff games that I'm going to watch today, man. But listen, got a packed show for y'all today, so hopefully y'all are standing close by, man, and watching the whole thing, man. If y'all can, please hit the like, comment, subscribe, share. Thank y'all. But listen, I didn't even get a chance to speak on this popular topic that's been going around for like a couple weeks now. The one gorilla versus 100 humans. First off, what type of gorilla is being fought? And what kind of men are going to be included in this 100 men? Because you're going to need some professional boxers, some wrestlers, some MMA fighters, some world-class heavy lifters, possibly some football players, some army men. Like, you can't just have just casual 100 men. Like, you got to have some guys who are good with their hands, guys who are smart, and you ain't using no weapon. You got to be smart. Like, so there's a video that I saw that says, if y'all see in the title, how strong is a gorilla compared to a human? And this is about a year ago. So there are some videos that we are going to watch to see the strength of a gorilla, to see if we, as us humans, is it even possible for some humans to beat up a gorilla with our bare hands? Using no knives, you can't use a gun, nothing. So listen, I'm about to watch a video to see what,
How strong is a gorilla compared to a human? In today's video, we'll be asking and answering a question that a lot of us have on our minds. How strong is a gorilla compared to a human?
Right.
On the surface, it's easy to say that they are much stronger than the average Joe, but it's more complicated than that. And today, we'll be discussing just how powerful is the gorilla and how it racks up against the strongest humankind has to offer. So, let's get speculating. The gorilla needs no introduction, but we are going to do it anyway. Gorillas are actually the largest living primates and are native to the forests of Central and Eastern Africa. They belong to the family Hominidae, which also includes chimpanzees, bonobos, orangutans, and, you guessed it, humans.
Right.
Interestingly, gorillas share a significant amount of genetic material with humans. In fact, humans share about 98% of their DNA with gorillas, making them one of our closest living relatives. Adult male gorillas, also known as silverbacks, can reach a height of up to 5.6 feet, 1.7 meters when standing upright, and weigh between 300 and 500 pounds, 135 to 225 kilograms.
Okay, hold on. Okay, now let's stop right there. Now, we do have some humans that are much bigger than that. Not 300 pounds. You can get a couple linemen. You can get some heavyweight MMA fighters that could be somewhat compatible with the gorilla. Now, once again, I'm on the side of no, we can't. Of the 100 men beating a gorilla, I'm on the side of no. But we're here to kind of prove if it's possible or not. But, yeah.
They have a muscular body with broad shoulders and a pronounced sagittal crest on top of their skull. In today's video, we'll be taking a silverback gorilla for reference. We just mentioned the height and weight of the gorilla. What's interesting about that is that these proportions aren't anything a human can't achieve. In fact, some athletes like Eddie Hall, for example, weigh 400 pounds, 182 kilograms, and is 6.3 feet, 1.9 meters tall.
He's strong as hell.
This is far and away much larger than an average silverback gorilla can measure. So, what even makes a gorilla stronger than a human? Well, there are a number of factors. Let's go over them now. Testosterone levels.
Get to 'em.
Testosterone is a hormone that plays a significant role in the development and maintenance of male characteristics in many species, including gorillas. Silverback gorillas have notably high testosterone levels compared to not only other male gorillas in the troop, but also humans by a long shot. In gorillas, as males mature and reach sexual maturity, their testosterone levels rise significantly, triggering physical changes that are associated with sexual maturation, such as the growth of facial and body hair.
Okay.
The elevated testosterone levels in silverbacks have several effects on their physiology and behavior, contributing to their strength in many different ways. Like, for example, testosterone promotes the development of muscle tissue by stimulating protein synthesis and increasing muscle mass. This results in the growth of larger and stronger muscles, enhancing the overall physical strength of silverback gorillas. Testosterone also promotes bone growth and helps maintain bone strength, making the skeleton more resistant to fractures and supporting the weight of the large gorilla body while they're moving about in their habitat.
Okay.
Interestingly, higher testosterone levels are also associated with increased aggression and dominance behaviors in males. In the context of silverback gorillas, elevated testosterone levels contribute to their dominant social status within the troop. They use displays of strength and aggression, such as chest beating and vocalizations, to establish and maintain their dominance and protect their troop. Muscular arms.
So they're using them pumping their chest in order to establish themselves that I'm here. I don't know.
The arms are a primate's most important tool. So when we're talking about a silverback gorilla, their arms are incredibly powerful and well developed. Gorillas rely on their upper body strength for various activities, such as climbing, brachiating, and engaging in displays of dominance. Their arm muscles, particularly the biceps and triceps, are large and robust, enabling them to support their substantial body weight and perform demanding tasks in their natural habitat. Gorillas, as well as many other primates, have a higher proportion of fast-twitch muscle fibers compared to humans. Fast-twitch muscle fibers are characterized by their ability to contract rapidly and generate high force output. The high proportion of fast-twitch muscle fibers in gorillas contributes to their explosive power and strength.
True.
On the other hand, humans tend to have a higher proportion of slow-twitch muscle fibers. Slow-twitch muscle fibers contract more slowly, have greater endurance, and are better adapted for aerobic metabolism. They are efficient at utilizing oxygen and are capable of sustaining contractions over extended periods without fatigue. This is why humans often need specialized training and conditioning to build strength and maximize their performance in strength-related activities. Regardless, it's estimated that a silverback gorilla could potentially lift and carry weights exceeding 4,000 pounds,
God damn!
1,800 kilograms.
God damn! Okay, yeah. Listen, this is the part where this is what I was looking for. How strong is a motherfucking gorilla? And look at this. Now, the only time I could see a human lifting something even remotely close is deadlifting. Because there's no way, I've never seen a human lift over 800 pounds above their heads. 700 pounds above their heads. I've never seen it. So when you talking about a gorilla like this, who talking about they can lift over 4,000 pounds, now that's where we got to slow down here. Because if you're talking about 100 men attacking a gorilla that's this strong, somebody ain't going home. There's somebody on the front line that ain't going home. You're gonna and those people, those 100 people, they are going to have to make a conscious decision on who's going to be on the front line. Like, who's going to be willing to risk their lives trying to attack this goddamn gorilla that can lift over 4,000 pounds? No.
Kilograms.
Come on, man.
In exceptional circumstances. For some frame of reference, this would be equal to the weight of an adult hippopotamus.
God damn.
Also, some research suggests that they can lift up to 27 times their own body weight. In the case of a strong human...
Hey, and I know he's probably going to say it, but, dog, the average weightlifter, it's good if you can squat. I think it's twice your weight or 3 times. I think squatting, but you are strong if you can bench press. I think 1.5 times your body weight. 27 times? Come on, dog.
Muscular arms are often the result of dedicated training and exercise, specifically targeting the upper body. Humans such as bodybuilders or weightlifters focus on building strength. Regardless, humans do not possess the same level of overall muscle mass or natural strength as gorillas.
Absolutely.
Their arm muscles can still be highly developed through specific weightlifting exercises, resistance training, and other forms of strength training. In fact, the heaviest weight that was lifted by any human was 501 kilograms, 1,104 pounds. Now, that's still pretty...
Doing what, though, is the question. Like, it has to be either... Because the only way a human can do that is they have to be deadlifting. Either deadlifting or squatting. And even though that's big, that's heavy important. Because we're talking about the average human being able to lift something like lift something above their shoulders or raise it up. Like, we're talking about a gorilla who can lift damn near 4,000 pounds lifting. We're not talking about squatting because the gorillas don't squat. So we gotta figure out what that was, the 1,000 pounds, what that was.
Be heavy, but if we were to do some math, the silverback gorilla would be 4 to 9 times stronger than a human.
Dog.
Jaws. If a gorilla's massive arms weren't enough, they also come equipped with a robust jaw that can easily break a human skull. Let's start at the beginning. Gorillas possess a sagittal crest. It is more prominent in adult male gorillas, particularly silverbacks. The crest serves as an attachment point for powerful jaw muscles, including the temporalis muscle. The sagittal crest provides gorillas with several advantages. First, it allows for a larger surface area for the attachment of powerful muscles, enabling greater force generation during biting and chewing. Second, it strengthens the skull, providing support and protection against external forces such as impacts from fights or falls. The robustness of the sagittal crest reflects the tremendous bite force that gorillas can exert. Speaking of bite force, studies indicate that the bite force of a silverback gorilla is estimated to be around 1,300 pounds per square inch, PSI or more. To put this into perspective, the average human bite force typically ranges between 120 and 200 psi. Therefore, the silverback gorilla's bite force is significantly greater than that of an average human. What's more, gorillas possess large, strong teeth adapted for their herbivorous diet. They have sharp incisors and canines for cutting vegetation, along with flat premolars and molars for grinding tough plant material. With all of that in mind, does a human who comes into contact with a silverback gorilla stand any chance of survival at all? And if they do, how do they get away? Let's set the stage.
Okay.
Imagine a traveler exploring a dense jungle in a remote region. As they venture deeper into the forest, they suddenly find themselves face to face with a majestic silverback gorilla.
Okay.
The gorilla, with its imposing presence, stares back, assessing the newcomer. In this critical moment, the traveler's survival instincts kick in. They remember everything that they learned from this channel about silverback gorillas and their temperament.
Okay.
Taking a deep breath, they remain calm, knowing that their reaction will play a vital role in the outcome of this encounter. Since it's been established that the silverback gorilla is definitely 27 times stronger than even the average human, fighting is futile. The traveler slowly stops their movements, avoiding any sudden gestures that could provoke the gorilla. They maintain a respectful distance, keeping at least 20 to 30 feet away from the gorilla.
That ain't far enough.
Every step they take is careful, ensuring they don't invade the gorilla's personal space. Understanding the significance of eye contact in gorilla communication, the traveler averts their gaze slightly downward, demonstrating submissiveness and respect. They know that direct eye contact might be seen as a challenge and potentially escalate the situation. Despite any fear or adrenaline rushing through their veins, the traveler resists the instinct to run. They understand that attempting to flee could trigger the gorilla's chase response, endangering both themselves and the gorilla. Instead, they slowly back away, keeping a non-threatening posture, demonstrating their intention to retreat peacefully. Finally, as the traveler maintains a non-confrontational demeanor, the gorilla, sensing no immediate threat, observes them for a few moments. Eventually, the gorilla, satisfied with the traveler's respectful behavior, gradually loses interest and returns to its daily activities, disappearing into the lush jungle. And that was our video.
Okay.
Let us know what you think.
No. See, I needed to see what happens when a gorilla and a human actually fight. What happens? That's what I wanted to see. I didn't want to see nothing respectful from the human. No. I wanted to see what happened if a gorilla attacked a human. How far is he flinging that mother? How far? No, I wanted to see. Hold on. No. I needed to see. No, I wanted to see, hold on. Because there's something else that we're going to watch. Let me see something. Hold on. There was no way, bruh. Hold on. Now, this is...
Why gorillas are so strong.
No, I needed to see them an example of them fighting something. Let me see. Hold on. See, I saw something about a gorilla fighting a lion. That's what I wanted to see. A gorilla fighting a lion. Let me see something. Let me see. Wait a minute. Let me see.
That's why they...
Alright.
An 11-year-old kid with the strength of 7 men.
Oh, yeah. Oh, tiny. God damn.
That's why they chain it down.
Now you understand why they have unchanged the Testosterone. He probably can grab it very easy and throw it to us.
He's spoiled.
And the older one he
The
used.
tree trunk is
I'm going to have to hit you.
That's the reason he's practicing his with his eyes, because he had to keep an eye on Luke. He's playing with a big bro.
Oh, there she goes. She's
The female.
I'm
not here.
This boy's stupid.
This boy is too dummy. Run! Little fella. He's going to...
He's going to roll it on his foot.
That's so boulder. Like,
Yeah, he's going to pinch one of his...
Then he's going to go crying.
Mama.
I want to see a gorilla fight. Yep. That's all I want to see.
He said, I'm strong. I guess he can catch it all. He's trying to see he can pick it out the rock.
Huh?
We don't grab the raw. Now he's tired already. It's too much energy. He's just finding the way to be annoying.
This ain't it. This ain't it. Gorilla versus a lion. Hold on. I want to see that. I want to see what happens when he's fighting. Yeah. Let me see. Gorilla. I don't want to see no gorilla fighting another gorilla. I want to see them fighting. Hold on. Okay, hold on. This might be it right here.
One of the most extraordinary characters I've ever met was Adrian de Schrijver. Adrian took us into the forest, confronted us with the gorillas, and we got charged and charged and charged again. And I think, and I'm sure, if I would have even flinched once and would have dropped the camera, or would have run or turned around, Adrian would have said, well, this is obviously not the right man to make this film. Adrian de Schrijver had this orphan baby gorilla.
This ain't it either. Nope, this ain't it either. We gotta see. I want to see them fight a lion. See, yeah, them silverback. No. Let me see. Let's see them fight each other. Okay. And you think a human gonna survive this?
Down there, see him? Hey, jump in there, break it up.
Oh!
Here he comes.
Yeah, ain't no human surviving that fall either.
You're okay.
No, the one down there.
Ain't no human surviving that fall either. But listen, I'm on the side of ain't no goddamn way that humans is fighting a gorilla, let alone 100 of us. It's not happening. But listen, and I know that. Listen, it was a cool debate. It's a real cool debate. But listen, I just want to tell y'all this, that it ain't humanly possible for that to happen. I don't think that that's happening, and I just believe that this is something that it's going to be, for the near future, for people to try and...
No, Rory
Hold on. I'll get to it. But listen, yeah, so before we end that debate, right, I just want to say this. It ain't possible. It's not possible. And us humans should just leave that alone. We should just leave that alone, right? So I do want to get to this, though, because this is exactly 1 year later that the Kendrick Lamar and the Drake beef actually happened. And I was so upset, right? I was so upset that I wasn't even involved with the reaction videos to any other songs that dropped. Because for me, being as old as I am, I'm a Kendrick and a Drake fan. I've been a fan of both of those guys since 07, 08. I remember when Kendrick first dropped Good Kid, Mad City. Matter of fact, I was in college when he dropped it. I was in college when he dropped Good Kid, Mad City. Dope classic project. Matter of fact, even before that, when he dropped Section 80, I think I was still in college when he dropped not only Section 80, but when he dropped Good Kid, Mad City. So I've been a fan of Kendrick around that time. And then with Drake, when Drake dropped Comeback Season. When he dropped Comeback Season, that's when I became a fan of his. And then he dropped Room for Improvement. Then he dropped there was a classic mixtape that he dropped when I was in school around that time, but had Wayne on it, had Omarion on it, or whatever. But that if I can get to it. But listen, Drake and Kendrick has always been my top 3, top 4 artists that I could listen to on a day-to-day basis. And I thought we would never get the battle, to be honest with you. I thought we would absolutely never get the battle because I saw that, Kendrick was throwing shots here and there. I remember when he dropped Control and Drake didn't respond. I remember, but it was a while because I think the last song that they were on together was Problems. When they were on Problems together. And that was the last time I heard them two on a song together, so which I thought was odd. But years later, Kendrick comes out and says, I'm the GOAT. Drake saying, I'm the GOAT. So essentially, they're probably avoiding each other. Well, here comes Future, comes out with his album, and here comes Kendrick on the song. So then it sparks this whole, well, matter of fact, this whole battle, which I was absolutely impressed with. These are two of my favorite artists of all time, and these two absolutely delivered. And I mean, I'm being honest, I did pick Kendrick to win the battle before the battle happened, but it don't matter because I didn't react to anything when they were dropping, but I was just amazed by both artists, honestly. I'm not an OVO stan. I'm not just a Kendrick stan, but I'm a Drake and Kendrick fan. So I was literally able to listen to both of these guys and enjoy both of them. So I'm not on the side of you have to pick and choose. No, I'm not. I'm not on that wave because I've been a fan of both these guys since 07, 08. You know what I'm saying? So for me to see what I was seeing online with there's an OVO, there's an OVO side of things, then there's a Kendrick only side of things, and people are people are losing friends. They're losing friends over this beef. Absolutely 100% losing friends over this beef, and I didn't understand it. Because me being a fan of both, I thought that I would be able to listen to both and enjoy both of them, but people, there were hate trains all over the place.
Welcome to our 1-year anniversary of the greatest battle in hip-hop history with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. We are here to celebrate with two of the biggest media personalities of the entire battle. Damaris, I felt like these were the best two to bring in to really break down everything that happened a year ago.
I agree. Representation for both camps.
We will start with our first guest hailing from Carson, California. Go figure. Had no idea. Media personality, legendary DJ, and the Coast Guard, from what I'm told.
West Coast with me.
Diehard Lakers fan.
He's on the right side of history.
Diehard Lakers fan. Absolutely.
Not this year, but I'm a Knicks fan, so.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So I feel like we should start at the absolute beginning of this entire thing, right before the battle even started. I want to go to the Control verse. Because DJ Head is our guest, we will let him go first. Do you think the subtle shots Kendrick and Drake threw at each other post-Control were serious or just for sport?
I think it's all sport. It's always been sport up until it wasn't.
At what point was it not?
I think once, we'll get there, I'm sure, but once lines get crossed and stuff.
I want to listen to these.
Bar didn't really, but I don't know if I look at that it was too early to say Whitney. I don't know. I don't think so. I can't speak, for his mindset in that moment, but to me that bar didn't really, when I heard that, I wasn't like, oh shit, it didn't really.
Okay.
Now, Kendrick may have heard it and been like, okay, if they did have a conversation and he spoke about not mentioning, you know, the family and the wife or whatever, then I could see Kendrick like, okay, so then all bets are off. But I can't speak to if that was too soon for Drake to say that.
But given the fact, both of us not being a rapper's brain, I didn't think Make It ring on him like Virginia Williams was that crazy of a bar either.
I was about to say that. I was absolutely 100% about to say that, because the same thing could be said when Pusha heard that bar and be like, oh, you want to say my fiance/wife's name. Okay, now all bets are off. And then all of a sudden, here comes Ghost right in the side. Let's have a heart-to-heart about your pride. When that hit the streets, yeah. So I was hoping he said that.
But you've seen in the past that if you just say a name, it allows a rapper to be like, all right, well, family's on the table now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying the name, not even the bar.
Yeah.
Is that a mistake that Drake made twice?
No, I don't think that's a mistake. I think if he wanted to say something, he said it, and he stands by it. Those are his bars. Like, you know what I mean? Who am I to say that was a mistake? Like, I don't think that was a mistake. I just think that, you know, whatever his mindset was, he had that bar, he came up with it and decided, all right, I'm going to say what I want to say. Like, I don't give a fuck about no rules, and it is what it is.
And the part with that is, for a guy, you know, with Drake battle tactic is women. It's always been women. It's always been 100% women with, you know, with him, with Meek, and he used Nicki as the chess piece with Pusha, you know, with his fiance, and now, you know, you have with him. Hold on. Matter of fact, with Kanye West and the Kardashians. You know what I'm saying? And now you try to use Whitney as a bar to attack Kendrick, in which he always used that as a way to try and, you know, and turn the women's side against whoever he was battling. So I think that was absolutely 100% the wrong approach, because you didn't want him to get people to get the wrong idea that Whitney and Drake know each other or have spoken to each other. So you just saying Whitney's name, I think that was one bad approach that you had. Because there were many bad approaches that you had. There were a lot of approaches that Drake did that was unwarranted.
What do you guys think the score was at this point, from Like That to Push-Ups?
I don't know if because Like That, to me, you know, obviously it's a Future record. Kendrick has a verse on there. Push-Ups is a record designed specifically for that moment at Kendrick. So I don't know if I scored.
Whoa. No. It wasn't just for Kendrick. See, because Drake didn't really say a lot in the Push-Ups verse. Because also, I remember, he talked about Rick Ross. He talked about Future. He talked about John Morant. He talked about A$AP Rocky. Like, there were a bunch of people that he included in that. Like, the only thing he really said in the song that was about Kendrick was, "You short." I had to, just to take your talk with you, I had to hype down. And that ball was fire. He also talked about his splits, you know, and his record label situation. Like, even though the majority of that was disses, like, it wasn't a lot that he said to Kendrick. Like, I mean, even though, like, along the way he spoke about Kendrick a lot more, but that song right there, that wasn't just solely based off Kendrick. And I think that was mistake number 2 and 3. Drake had about two songs in this beef where it wasn't solely based on Kendrick. And the only song that it was when he dropped the Heart Part 6, when he was defending himself. So, no, the whole Family Matters thing, like, that wasn't solely based off Kendrick. yeah, the third verse might have been, and most of the first verse was, but the second verse, nah, that second verse was Rick Ross, that was ASAP, and that was The Weeknd. Like that was a few. He talked to about a few people there.
I think the Like That verse was when we all was like, oh shit, like okay, like Kendrick he wants to get in the ring, like he wants to have this moment, which I think we all feel like he's done before, and he obviously wanted to have that moment for the time. I think that it was more surprising for me that Drake engaged it because he was, still on the road. Well, was just fresh off the road, I think, when Like That dropped. No, he was still on the road.
Still on the road, yeah.
So he was still on the road. I was more surprised that Drake, he engaged in the situation. Again, because he had, all of this going on. I didn't think that he would, want to get off the road and go right into battle mode, because you do have to get into a different mindset to, get into a back and forth with an MC or rapper. As Kendrick, you have to, make sure that you're on your A game. So him being on tour and then getting off, I was like, I didn't think that he would engage it. But I mean, I think that this is something that, again, every rapper has in the back of their mind. Like, I'm ready for anybody. Like, I don't care what it is. And I think that that's, one of the things that I respect about Drake is because he very well could have not responded and just ignored it and been like, yo, I don't even know like what this guy's issue is or whatever. And, continue doing what he was doing. But I think the MC in Drake, the rapper in Drake was like, yo, hold up. Like, you ain't coming at me like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, you want to have this moment, let's do it. So I think there's something to respect about that. But again, I didn't think that he would at first, because again, his mindset and where he was at wasn't nowhere near battle rap mode. It was more so like, I got, this tour going, this album just came out, me and Cole are selling out, shows, #1 record. I didn't think that he would flip the switch and get right into battle mode. So, I was surprised that he engaged in the battle.
Had thoughts?
Now, I 100% agree with that. To be honest, I do agree with that. Like, Drake didn't know that this was going to happen, that the battle was going to happen, because Kendrick came out of nowhere and just slapped that verse out. And so Drake could have 100% not responded. But I think Drake, at that moment, was put in a situation where if I don't respond, people are going to look at me like I'm afraid of him. If I do respond and I lose, people are going to say, well, then you shouldn't have took the battle. Or, like, I think at that moment, he kind of was put in a lose situation, but it was all going to be contingent on how he approached the battle. Like, listen, if he didn't have no personals about his wife or whatever, or about his kids, and they just rapped and just talked about his albums and how I sell more than you, or how I put you on my tour. Like, if Drake would have little broed Kendrick, I think the battle would have turned out a different way. I think his approach in this battle was wrong. I don't think it's where it needed to be, but I think that Drake could have just approached the battle differently.
I wasn't surprised, but not from an MC or competitive standpoint, just ego. I think that too. Ego has been the fall of the empire.
That too.
Well, part of it, but I think it was all ego, bravado, and miscalculation. I think from the very beginning. Well, I don't score it. Like, I don't have a score at this point. I never really had a score, honestly, throughout the whole shit. It was just like boom, boom, boom. So I wasn't scoring it, but I actually had this conversation with my manager, Salas. He told me right after Like That, he said, if he responds to me to one of the worst mistakes of his career. And I was like, how? You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like, again, I said this before, but I'm thinking like, R. Kelly, he gonna make a hit record, everything gonna go away. You know what I'm saying? He's just gonna make a hit. He gonna hit record himself out of this, like he does all the time. He's Drake. He can do that.
Not with this one.
Boy, was I wrong.
Not with this one.
When you look at the push-up record, that still to me is one of them things where it counts, but it didn't count until it counted, until he claimed the record. You know what I mean?
Until Drake claimed the record or Kendrick?
Until Drake claimed the record.
Push-ups?
Yeah. Because I think Academics was the only person with the record. Now, as a DJ, I know how that is. You know, Flex get the record first, or whoever get the record first. I get the.
Actually, with that is that it actually came out with the Get Money beat. Now, Academics received the official record moments after that push-up record, because that push-up record was out on Saturday morning. It was out, but it was under an entirely different beat. And a lot of people thought it was AI. And there were a bunch of verses, a bunch of lines in that song where it was actually switched around once the official song came out. So even though Academics did put out the official one, there was also another one that everybody on Twitter thought it was AI. So I hope he mentions that.
Whatever, I understand that, but not in this way, because in this way it's like, well, are you responding or are you not? And then it'd be like he became like a meme coin. He was just memeing all day, and it was just like memes and little subtle innuendos and like it was just stupid shit going on. It was goofy. So that's when I decided to say something. Again, I was acting on my own, but I was like, yo, what are we doing? Like, what is it? You know what I mean? And then, because the record wasn't out. And so I don't think that we actually can count the record until the day that it came out on DSP. Now it's like, oh, now this is a real record. Because you're claiming the record, as opposed to it could be AI, it could just be some bullshit that Ack is doing, you know, whatever the case may be. So from there, that's when I start everything. I don't even count like that.
Okay.
No worry now.
This episode is
No, obviously in a battle, you know what people are going to try to weaponize against you and say about you. You know, so you take that and you say, go ahead. I know I don't have no skeletons in my closet. Like, I know the type of things that you're going to try to say about me. So go ahead, say it. Like, yeah, get it off. Say it. Now, what I think the issue came in, I think what the label did with the record and publishing it and, you know, getting behind it, putting money behind it, I think that's where the problem came in for Drake. I don't think it was the fact that Kendrick said it. I think it was the fact that once Drake realized, like, oh, this is a play. Like, okay. Like, and obviously, you know, we're not in Drake's business, but he's in negotiations currently with the same label. He probably asked for a number that not many artists have ever been in a position to even attempt to ask for. So he understood the deeper thing. Like, okay, this is to try to devalue me at a time where y'all know the business that we're sitting around handling or discussing. Kendrick is the new guy on the block with PG Lang. Y'all are now behind that. Okay, cool. There's no problem there. But I see what's happening now. And I think that's where Drake felt like he didn't lose the battle. The battle lost him. He stepped away from like, oh, this is a play. Y'all are trying to get, you know, some.
He didn't lose the battle. The battle lost him is insane. No, he got his ass whooped. we ain't doing that. Like, no, we not doing that, bro. Like, I know he's part of OVO. He's been part of OVO since he was on the Joe Budden podcast. But come on, we're not doing that. He clearly lost the battle, bro. Come on.
Some data and some numbers behind this thing. Like, okay, I get it. Like, all right. I'm
Get out of here.
Okay, Ma. We'll come back to that when we get to Not Like Us. Did you want to respond to that? Do you think that it was a mistake that he did that?
I don't think. I mean, I think everything he did with Taylor May was a mistake.
How so?
I understand the whole 8 Mile approach to shit, but that's also a rap nerd's pipe dream. That's not reality. Like, you don't go into a fight out like that. To me, that tells me that you've never been outside. Like, I don't go to the park to fight somebody and hand them a weapon. You know what I mean? That's just not reality. To me, that's some blog rap nerd shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the sense of, at this point, you've already escalated things. So now you should probably understand that it's not a friendly fade. Again, I've explained this ad nauseum. A friendly is for someone who you're friendly with. A friendly fade, a fair one we call it. A fair one is for the homie, like we have a rapport and we're gonna go eat after. We're gonna go outside, we're gonna run a fair one, and then we're gonna go eat. That's reserved for the homie. When you're an op, quote unquote, opposition, an enemy, whatever the case may be, where how we came up, there are no fair ones. You get immediately eviscerated, you get packed. We call it maxed out or packed out. There is no such thing as a friendly amongst people who are oppositions. So to me, that, like I said, this screams of somebody who's never been in those environments, because I would not hand somebody a weapon to use against me in the real world, right? The second thing.
Well, what if it's not a real weapon?
It doesn't matter if it's perceived as one. Yeah, the cops is going to shoot you if you have a gun in a phone case. It don't matter. Mm-hmm. They're going to shoot you. Mm-hmm. It's a perceived weapon. So we all know we live on the internet. Perception doesn't matter. Reality doesn't matter if the perception is fucked up, right? So the second thing was the AI shit. The song would have just been wouldn't have been a dope rap song without the AI shit. Again, screaming of lack of cultural awareness, because you don't. I don't know. Maybe I could ask you: would you ever use someone's likeness who's currently walking around?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, me, I wouldn't, but in that situation,
why not?
And that's because
not in that situation. Just in general. Why not?
I mean, but I have though. I mean, we've done skits and things like that where I've acted like other people
with AI.
Not with AI, but in the terms of acting and using somebody's likeness and personality, not necessarily AI, but with that record, with the tailor-made record.
More answer the question. Why are you not using somebody else's likeness while they're walking around? Answer the question. Don't try to weave out of it and say, no, you wouldn't do it. And when he asks you, well, why not? No, answer that. Answer the why not question. Answer that.
I thought that it was a clever, first of all, we've never seen that in that type of situation, battle or not. So I thought it was a clever play. Everybody, it wasn't like one of those records where it was like, oh, he killing him. It was more so like, oh, that was clever.
It would have been even more clever without that. Because to me, again, somebody who has respect for, I don't give a fuck if I don't like you as an artist. I would never, because I have respect for hip hop, I have respect for my elders. Even people who don't like me as an elder in the game, I would never disrespect them publicly because I respect.
Where was the disrespect?
To use someone's likeness without their permission, who's currently breathing.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Yeah, but see, that's where y'all people lose me in this, because yes, he used Tupac's voice with a filter.
Snoop Dogg.
No, Snoop Dogg.
But when we say, oh, he's using their likeness and this, that, and that, like Drake wasn't using that as a single trying to get popping, and it, like, that's where I think
that
people
ain't
was
what he's saying, Mo. That's not what he's saying. He's saying you're using his likeness while he's walking around in a battle. We didn't care if he was using that to get popping, because we knew good and damn well he wasn't going to use that song to get popping. We knew that because he released it on IG anyway. He released it on IG, not on YouTube, not on Twitter, on IG. He did it for a reason. The same reason why Kendrick released that Meet the Grams on IG. He released it then too.
This was a moment. It was a battle. It was like, all right, let's have some fun. He's taking too long to respond. You know, what are some of the West Coast, Mount Rushmores, what would they say in this moment to Kendrick if they could speak to him and get him in a room? I think that was Drake's mindset. Like, yo, we doing this or not, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you jumped out there with the verse. Let's do it. Like, I'm fresh off tour. I'm in the studio. I'm not sleeping. I'm up. I'm ready for this moment. Like, what are you doing? And then obviously, the record came out. Somebody made a call to an estate. The estate said, take it down, delete the song. Okay, cool. No problem. It wasn't that serious of a song. I'll delete it off my Instagram or wherever it was living at. It wasn't that deep. So that's why I feel like when people are like, oh, he used, Pac's likeness or use Snoop's likeness and this, that, and the third. And it's like, bro, it wasn't that serious though. He wasn't trying to make a living off of this song and publish it and push it out to the mat. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So when people carry it that heavy, I'm like, bro, this was a battle, bro. This was like a little intent, like, yo, what's up, fam? Like, I'm here, I'm outside, I'm waiting for you. Like, what you gonna do? Like,
I agree with you, but to me, even your rebuttal screams to me that you don't understand.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's disrespectful. Where we come from. Where I'm from, that's disrespectful. It doesn't matter what the use case is. You don't violate the elders or the OGs.
Where was the violation at, though?
Why did they tell him to take it down?
Because he used somebody's likeness in their tone and their inflections in their voices.
So the violation is using someone's shit without their permission.
Yeah, but again, you losing me because I get what you're saying. Yes, he used the AI, the voice, the filter. I get that part. But it's not like he used it and was disrespecting Pac or Snoop.
And that's what I'm telling you. You don't see the bigger picture is.
The bigger picture is those are West Coast artists. Kendrick is a West Coast artist. And this turned into California versus Drake. Not Kendrick versus Drake.
No.
That's the real situation.
No, that's not what happened.
That's exactly what Kendrick turned it into.
That's not what happened.
Kendrick didn't turn it into California versus Drake? You DJ'd the pop-out show. What are you talking about?
No.
Who used whose likeness?
So it was you and Amazon.
Who used whose likeness?
Drake and 40
So you saying are you saying that Dot conspired to have Dot, you saying Dot conspired to have Drake use those two West Coast legends, right?
No, I'm not saying no.
I'm about to say, what is Mar talking about? If anything, Drake turned it into California versus Drake. Dog, the moment you used Tupac and Snoop on that song that he took down, no, nigga, you turned it into California versus Drake. Because, like he said, where they come from, they take it as disrespectful. Like, for you to bring Tupac from the dead and then you use Snoop's voice to try and diss Kendrick, because the part that he's not saying is there's shit that he said that was a diss to Kendrick, to both Tupac and Snoop's voice. There were disses. Like, I know that Maul saying that Drake used those two to make fun, but no, like what DJ has said. He said it was a disrespectful act. Just using them voices, I don't care what they were using it for. It don't matter what it was used for. We don't care they don't care if Drake wasn't trying to profit off of it. The main point is you should not have used their voices, and maybe this don't turn into California versus Drake. But Drake turned it into California versus Drake because you used their voices. And that's a no-no in California.
I'm not saying Dot had anything to do with it.
No, I'm just, listen. You're saying that Dot turned it into California versus Drake. That's
100%.
How?
But Drake used California first.
He used it in a way of saying, yo, dog, you taking too long to drop your verse or your record, whatever you putting out.
Okay.
Like, yo, what's up, fam? I'm waiting. Like, this is what the OGs would say, or what I think the OGs would, if they could get in Kendrick's ear, like, Kendrick, we need you, West Coast savior. All of that, like, that was just fun shit. That was part of the moment. But to then have the estate, whoever called the estate, I don't know who called the estate, Tupac estate.
Who has to call anybody?
I'm just saying, somebody
use Rory and Mal and to do stuff without y'all permission?
They do it all the time on
Hell
YouTube.
No, that's not what I'm asking you. Are you cool with people using Rory and Mal? Rory, are you cool with people using Rory and Mal to just do whatever the fuck they want to do?
No.
Why not?
It depends the light that it's put in.
Okay.
There's plenty of stuff that goes on YouTube that will never copyright, copy strike, anything. If you want to use our content, I'm okay with it.
Right. Yeah.
There's been times where like homophobic shit was used.
Hey, Rory, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Just so you see that I'm reacting to this y'all video right here because it's Kendrick and Drake a year later. So I appreciate that, Rory.
Used in our likeness that we didn't feel was okay. Especially because we're with advertisers and it's different there.
Right.
But as far as like someone clipping this exact conversation Nah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, perfect.
Because it promotes. I mean, granted, that didn't promote Tupac or Snoop, so I see there's not.
It wasn't supposed to though.
I know. So it's a weird comparison that I think Head is asking.
No. It's not. I'm not comparing the two. I'm simply just asking straight across because he was bringing up like somebody called the estate. Just straight across business, you can't even put out your album without getting clearance.
Oh, for sure, yeah. No, I don't think anyone needed to call Tupac's estate. They could just hear it.
That's all I'm.
The lawyer that they have on retainer.
Oh, so y'all don't think nobody called Tupac's estate?
I'll be honest. I don't know.
Pretty sure he did.
Kendrick.
I'm pretty sure.
No, I'm asking, do you think anybody did?
I think somebody probably did. I don't think it had anything to do with Kendrick, but I'm not in this debate.
Okay.
So my point is, Drake brought California in before Dot did.
Because he used Snoop and Pac's likeness?
It would have been a cool record without it.
Okay.
It's just creatively, you have to have the bandwidth to do that on your own.
I get that. All right, so 17 days passes. In this era, I feel like because of the internet, people want you to reply right away. And I feel like Dot was the one that kind of initiated this entire thing with free time while Drake was on tour and then waited 17 days to put out Euphoria. Was that too long in your opinion, Ed?
No.
Not in retrospect.
No.
We're in the timeline right now.
No.
Why?
Because you don't get to dictate what I do.
Even if you popped everything off. If you say, yo, let's fight, and then
who said that?
Now it's on your time. No, you asked me to fight. Let's go fight.
But who said that?
I mean, like that. I feel said that.
He didn't say let's fight. He said, fuck that shit, I'm this. That's like me saying I'm not anti anybody, I'm just pro us. I'm not anti New York, I'm just pro LA.
He said he wanted to kill every dog. We know what he was talking about.
That was
wordplay. But
long ago.
Initiates a battle.
That wasn't like that. That was the end of the verse.
No, I know that. But what I'm saying is, if you look at it, to me, that's rap. That's not the same thing. Like if we're keeping this timeline that we're on right now, right? Whereas that song comes out, then you get the response, which is the push-up record, and then this alleged conversation happens. It's like, oh, this is a thing? All right, bet I'll be back. You don't get to dictate when I come back.
Nah, I mean, Head is being political, and I respect that, but we all know it was a play.
What was the play?
Lucian had to have a meeting about what was going to happen, how it was going to happen.
What?
Yeah.
Lucian?
Absolutely.
You know that for a fact?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's crazy. So,
well,
also,
do you not see that could be something that would happen?
No.
In the building?
That's not.
After we've engaged, like that has come out and pushed.
Hold on, Rory. Not to cut you off. As a moderator, not to cut you off.
No, go ahead. I want to shut up.
You don't think that there was no talks with anybody at Universal about what Kendrick was about to do at any point in this battle? You don't think that Kendrick had a conversation with anybody about his plans, what he was going to do, how they wanted to do it? You think all of this was just Kendrick with whoever he's in the studio with, and they were deciding what they wanted to do? You think he didn't have a single conversation with the label?
I don't think so.
Do I think that? I don't think so.
You don't think he had one conversation?
I don't think so.
All right.
I don't think so either.
Once Euphoria drops, Head, I know you had said earlier you didn't think he was plotting whatsoever, but there was rumors that he had records for 4 years. Again, rumors, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Euphoria did speak a bit to some stuff on push-ups, but was that a record, in your opinion, that had been halfway done for quite some time?
No, I think you have ideas. I don't think the record has been done forever.
Okay.
Like I think you have ideas. It's like, oh, if I get into it with this artist, here's some things, here's some bullet points. Like we've all moderated and hosted shit, right? Mm-hmm. So me personally, my personal hosting style is I go like I'm going to Cal State Northridge next week to speak. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I have bullet points of ideas. And then that's my best way of communication because I want my thoughts to always be authentic. That's why I don't have no prep sheets. I didn't come here with like, hey, we can't talk about this. And you know what I mean? Because I'm best when I'm just being real and authentic. So I think these are ideas that he might have had, but I don't think there was any records. I mean, there probably were some bars in songs, but I don't think there was a Euphoria done 4 years ago. No.
Oh, and speaking of that though, so I guess from what I was just listening to other podcasters or whatever, and they were saying how there was rumor that on that verse, Kendrick had more bars. Like he had a lot more bars. And matter of fact, not only on the Euphoria, because I heard the Euphoria was like 18 minutes, and he cut it down to 5. But with the Like That verse, they said he had 10 other verses, and he chose the lightest one that he came up with. So I thought that was pretty fascinating too.
No.
Okay, follow up on that. Do you think anything on Euphoria landed at this point in the battle? April 30th, 2024.
Yeah.
What do you think landed?
I like the DMX callback. That's a personal fan favorite of mine. They Hate the Way You Walk and stuff like that. That shit, because it was just funny. It was a moment that was funny, and I like humor. But
you like humor unless you're using Pac's and Snoop's likeness.
That's not humorous to me. That's respect. I don't find disrespect humorous.
Okay.
So there was the other part where
you don't find this. Wait, hold up. You don't find disrespect humorous. You DJ the Popeye. That was based on disrespect.
Was it?
What? Hey, we not doing this. We not do. You my guy. We not doing this.
Doing what?
You don't find disrespect humorous? All you niggas was shaking y'all asses on that Amazon stage.
I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. I don't shake my ass.
I saw you shaking ass.
I don't shake ass.
I mean, you wasn't twerking, but you had a 2-step behind the turntable. We not doing that.
Yeah, but that's not gyrating ass.
All right, but you was gyrating. Maybe not your ass, but you was gyrating.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was I saying?
Lines that hit from Euphoria. You had your turn. We're going to ask Mal now. Mal, were there any lines objectively that you think struck a nerve from Euphoria?
I honestly can't remember Euphoria. Like the bar. And I'm being serious. I really can't remember.
I don't know why you asked him
a single
that.
bar from Euphoria right now.
Hey yo,
I'm being dead serious. If y'all have a line that y'all can give me an example of, I would love to talk about it. But I really cannot think of a line.
Okay.
Headshot of the year. You better walk around like Daft Punk.
Landed and
yeah, like that affected because I mean we're eventually going to
was Euphoria the one about his dad or
no that's Meet the Grams.
Which one is Euphoria?
I mean, it's one of the longer records.
Why are you asking him? Why are you asking him about Euphoria? He don't care about it. He don't care about it.
That impression. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, I don't think none of that landed.
New King Crody? Yeah, that one.
Nah.
When I See You Dancing with Sexy Red, I believe you see two bad bitches. What is it? The braids.
That line was fire too.
The things that were addressed in Euphoria, do you think that they hit at all, whether to Drake personally or to his image? Do you think that it made anybody go, oh, he has to respond to this?
No, I mean, I don't think it was that. I think people just felt like Drake had to respond just as, as a rapper. You stand behind your pen and your bars. So I think people felt like Drake had to respond no matter what Kendrick said. But I don't know if it was anything in Euphoria where Drake was in, wherever he was at, like getting mad, like he said that, like it's on now. I don't think it was any of that.
I don't mean from Drake's perspective. I think just because everything played out on the timeline and the court of public opinion is really what's at stake with battles at this point. More so, did that affect anything? Because I think a lot of points were brought up with push-ups and Drake talking about Kendrick's contract and stuff that maybe we didn't know before. That's more what I'm saying with Euphoria.
Yeah, but people don't care about facts.
We will get to that as well.
Yeah.
3 days later, 6/16, LA comes out.
Fire.
Kendrick rapped, "Have you ever thought that OVO is working for me?" If that is true, do you guys know who that person was? Because this has been probably the most debated thing during that week of who the mole was.
That Kendrick has a mole in OVO?
Yes. They were going through Boy Wonder's social security, his mom's address.
I think that was just a tactic from Kendrick of divide and conquer. Just plant the seed of, start to get Drake to walk around his campus, start looking at everybody with a raised eyebrow like, is it you? I don't think that was a real thing, though. I don't think nobody from OVO is working for Kendrick.
And
Now, I think I kind of agree with that. I personally don't think that he has a mole at OVO, but it made Drake think of though. It did make Drake think. Now, I'm pretty sure he had the gardener, his driver, the maid, had him. I think he did a damn near entire shakedown of the people that had worked for him. I think he absolutely 100% did, and he did a shakedown. and ask, yo, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? I did think that happened though. So I do think that was like a war tactic that Kendrick used. I personally don't think that he has a mole in the camp, but it did make him think though. I do believe that for sure.
We'll get to Heart Part 6, but I do want to counter your point. He did say he sent somebody
to get information on Drake.
No, he had said that he had placed the information about the daughter, which we'll also get to. But Drake did admit in Heart Part 6 that he had placed the mole that Kendrick was talking about was actually placed by Drake in there.
Double H.
And that was a lie too. Drake was 100% lying with that bar too. That's why one of the many reasons why the Heart Part 6 did not hit. I think that shit was an absolute dud because the moment that Meet the Grams dropped, you are on IG placing a whole bunch of memes that, what are you talking about? Yo, could somebody go find my daughter that I don't have? Somebody go find my daughter. And then on a Heart Part 6, you're saying that I had somebody sent you the information. I planned this here. Which one is it? Are you saying that no, I don't know what you're talking about? Or is it you planned that information out the entire time? You gotta pick and choose. So that's why I was like a bit thrown. One of the many reasons why I was thrown off with the Heart Part 6, because it might pick a side, big dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jason Bourne shit.
I don't know. I don't know how true that is.
But what do you think?
I mean, I think a lot of things were said in jest. I think a lot of things it was for entertainment. I'm pretty sure Drake did send some false information Kendrick's way. How did he send it? Who he sent it with? I can't speak to that. But I'm pretty sure he sent some fake work. He sent a fake brick in the mail.
Head, do you have any response to this? Do you think that there was a mole, or do you have confirmation that there was indeed a mole?
I wouldn't necessarily call it that. A mole indicates espionage.
Explain.
And spell it.
What, espionage?
Yeah.
What does it spelling mean?
No, I just want to hear you spell espionage.
You spell it first.
Me?
Yeah.
Espionage. Okay.
You want me to go
Stop
now?
playing with me, Head. Who you think you sitting across, man? We're not doing this. You my guy. We're not going to do this.
I'm not doing it.
All right, cool. All right. And I don't even know if I spelled it right, but
okay.
I'm about to say, I don't even know if you spelled it right.
Even if you don't think that there was a mole, because you keep hearkening back to the fact that none of this was plotted or pre-planned, do you think that there was indeed someone from the OVO camp that was providing information that Drake would have rather not been provided, that Drake would have rather not gotten out? Do you think that happened?
I wouldn't necessarily say from the OVO camp.
An affiliate, maybe?
Perhaps.
Just an OV? An O?
Maybe.
Family Matters.
Moving on.
All right, so Family Matters drops the exact same day. Mal, you posted a red button, as well as Drake on his story. Mal, do you think the Dave Free bar was the nuke that Drake thought it was?
no, I don't think that Drake thought that was a nuke, that bar.
He had said on red button on the Scary Hours Deluxe for all the dogs that he could hit the red button. Everyone's going to heaven.
Yeah,
so we were all anticipating that this red button was going to be something that was going to blow all of our fucking minds. Do you think that red button was as effective as Drake may have thought it was?
No, I think you were just attaching that red button to anything at this point. But I think that, because For All the Dogs came out way before any of this even transpired. I don't think that the Dave Free bar was a bar that Drake was like hanging on, like, oh, this is gonna be the one that. I don't think it was that. But if you go back and listen to Family Matters, I think that.
So why did he post the red button, Mal? Answer that question, because I did see that too. I did see that Drake. I don't know who else posted it, but Drake and Academics, you 100% posted the red button meme before you dropped Family Matters. I seen that. So you're not gonna tell me that he didn't think that Family Matters was gonna do what he thought it was gonna do, because at the end of the second verse he said, "I'm going on vacation now," and that was before the third verse. He said, "I'm going on vacation now," which let me know that he already had the 2 verses done before Kendrick responded. Before Kendrick put out Euphoria, he already had those 2 verses done. He already had it done. That's why in the third verse is a whole different beat, and that whole verse is pertaining to Kendrick. That whole third verse. So yeah, I believe he thought that Family Matters was gonna be the red button, 100%.
This day, I still believe that's a better record than Not Like Us. I believe he rapped better on Not Like Us. I believe the production is better than Not Like Us. I think Drake's, the only thing I would have done differently looking back, I would have cut that brick in 3. I wouldn't have released all 3 of the beat changes at once. I would have released the first one, ended with the gunshots, wait to see what Kendrick does. If he takes too long, maybe release the second one. I would have done that. But if we go back now that it's all, said and done, and just listen to bars, and I've spoken to a lot of rappers and artists that make music at a high level, and without even bringing it up, they say like Drake may have, in the perception of people, may have lost the strategy game, but as far as the better bars and music, Not Like Us is not better than Family Matters.
And that right there is the problem. Because there were a lot of people that I saw were saying the same thing, but when you're in battle mode, sometimes it ain't about the better bar. It's about what are you going to say to the person that's going to make them look a certain way. That's going to make them look different. You can have, listen, I do agree in some aspect that there are songs where I thought that Drake had better bars, where the wordplay was better, but when somebody is attacking your character, when they're attacking how you are as a man, when they're attacking what you do on a regular day-to-day, ain't man shit, when they're talking about you as a human being, no, it ain't time to have the better bars. It ain't time for that. And that's what battle rapping really is. Sometimes it ain't about the person with the better bars. It's about attacking your character. It's about having everybody look at you a certain way. That's what battling is. Now, if there was no personal shots thrown, if there was no family involved in here, like if nobody's kids was involved here, nobody's girl was involved here, and y'all was just doing wordplay, then yeah, Drake would have had a much better chance. And in retrospect, Drake possibly could have won the battle if he would have kept kids and a girl out of it. Honestly. But nah, he used the battle to assassinate your character and how you are as a man. That's what it was for real.
Head, would you agree with that?
He's from Carson. He can't disagree with it.
Or I just go outside.
Okay, well, since this was going to be a post-battle question, but let's ask it now since Mal did bring it up. Who out-rapped who? Not who out-impact who. Who had the better strategy? Who had the better bars in this entire battle?
I stay on my side of the line of scrimmage.
He got to. He got a check from the Pop-Out show.
I don't have to.
Yes, you do. You can't go against that.
I can do whatever I want to do.
Nah, you can't go against Kendrick. You can't do that. And I'm not mad at you. I fuck with you. I'm not mad at you. But you can't sit here and objectively say, nah, I don't think that,
I would.
Nah.
If that's what I thought.
Drake out-rapped him. And I'm talking about, fuck me saying it. Some of the rappers that you've played their records and respect, I've had conversations with them, and they like, yo, Kendrick may have got the strategy and the perception of him dropping right after Family Matters and all of that. Cool. But if you just go and listen to bars as an MC and as a rapper, There's no way you think Kendrick. I don't even think Kendrick was trying to really rap on Not Like Us. I think it was a song. He was trying to get people to dance. He needed to galvanize the West Coast, get the whole California behind this song. This is like our new anthem, which is I'm not mad at that strategy. But we're not gonna say he rapped better than Drake on Not Like Us versus Family Matters. No fucking way.
Okay, so Mal, bringing that up, when you're referencing that and everybody else that you're referring to, are you talking about just Not Like Us versus Family Matters? Or are you talking about Kendrick versus Drake in the entirety of all of these songs?
Because also at this point, Family Matters was really against Meet the Grams in that situation.
I think Family Matters and Heart Part 6, Drake is rapping better than anything Kendrick put out during that moment.
Head?
Just rapping. Absolutely.
I aspire to have this level of...
He's still on impact of a song. He's talking about a song. I'm talking about bars.
No.
I'm talking about lyrics. I'm talking about rhymes.
I'm talking about rap. And
Not Like Us, the production is not even dope.
Okay, so Mal, you keep bringing up Not Like Us. Head, do you think that Not Like Us is Kendrick's best rapped song in all of this battle? Which one would you pick out of all of them?
Euphoria.
Okay.
I don't even remember that song.
It's probably a lot of bars too, confusing.
No, it's just like when you open a bag of chips, it's a lot of the air at the top and there's a few chips in there. But we ain't gonna go back to that.
Head, you being the Coast Guard and having some relationship with everybody in that camp and around that camp, what was everyone's reaction to the Dave Free bar?
Comedy. It was like that's the well, actually there was two reactions. One from the front facing standpoint, like that we all had internally, was like, that's not even a good attempt. Like that's like a lazy attempt at something. And then the second thing was from the homies.
What about Kendrick saying you have a daughter? Yeah, that wasn't a lazy attempt?
What about it?
That wasn't a lazy attempt from Kendrick? Saying that Drake has a daughter that he's hiding?
I don't know. Do we have one?
You don't know if that was a lazy attempt? I'm asking, do you think that was a lazy attempt?
No.
You don't?
Why?
And do you think Drake is hiding a daughter?
Hiding is a verb.
Okay, do you think Drake has a daughter?
Answer the question, Herb. Come on.
You are hiding your opinions.
Yeah, do you think Drake has a...
The way that I was on Mal, DJ Hurt, you gotta answer the question, bro. Come on, bro. We gotta keep it fair on both sides. You gotta answer the question, DJ Head. Come on.
Daughter.
I think it's possible.
Okay. You think it's possible that you think that Drake has a daughter, or do you think it's possible Drake has a daughter?
I think it's possible he has one.
Okay.
I mean, I don't particularly care to get into Kendrick's personal life with his girl, kids, and his business partner. But do you see Mal's point in some degree that saying Dave Free might be your son's father, I agree is lazy, and I thought if that was the nuke, that's odd, because that's not, no one's really gonna believe that, even if for some weird reason it was true. The daughter thing, is that not lazy because Push already did it, and we saw what that did, and you're supposed to be light years ahead of any rapper right now, and you're reusing the same strategy off something that can't be proven, whereas Push did it and it was proven.
No, I get that point, but you also have to understand, like, the way I'm looking at it, and this is, I mean, you're not gonna believe me, but objectively looking at it, it's a Floyd Mayweather thing. Like, Dot has been counterpunching the whole time. He's not aggressed. The only time he aggressed is once it was already fully on. You know what I'm saying? So if you think about it,
like that, he aggressed. What are you talking about?
If you think about it, when you say like the Dave Free thing came first in Family Matters,
correct? Yeah,
and then there was a response, and then the other thing came. It wasn't like it's like, oh, okay, boom, boom. It was like a 1-for-1 to me.
Okay, so you are, and I'm asking, because we think that the Dave Free line was a lie, that gave Kendrick also a green light to lie about the daughter. Hypothetically, because we do not know these people and their personal lives like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, sure.
So you don't get a point taken away if you do a whole third verse about something that's completely unproven and possibly fed as information to you to give you the okie doke.
Well, no, okay, let's do it this way. Let's take it out. Let's take the whole verse out.
I'm about to say,
I love the record.
Verse out.
I love the record.
Which record is this?
Meet the Grams.
I don't like the record.
Okay.
At all, on no level. I've listened to it a total of maybe 5 times. And I told him that. I don't like the record.
What don't you like about it?
It's too fucking, it's dark. And it makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it. I'm a jovial, like, I'm a nerd and I'm like cerebral, but I'm a jovial individual. I have good positive frequencies. I don't like that shit. I don't like the depth and dark, like, shit. That ain't my bag. So I told him that. That's like my least favorite record out of everything.
Mal, do you think Meet the Grams, even based off your opinion of the record, because even Head said he doesn't really like it like that, do you feel like it was effective off Drake's probably best record in this entire beef?
No.
Why?
I mean, people don't even really talk about Meet the Grams. It's not even a song that people, I think like Head said, I think most people kind of forget that record. Like, we get it. He dropped it right after, and the timing of it when he dropped it was like, oh shit. Everybody was running back and forth to YouTube. Kendrick just dropped and this, whatever. But I think when you go back and listen to it, it's probably the least favorite from most people.
Fair. But do you think if Family Matters, being the diss record that it is, had more time to breathe, it would have been more effective in this battle, whereas Meet the Grams to not like us back to back after, I think, Drake's best diss record ever?
Family Matters?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Do you think that was an effective step on when it came to Drake's best effort?
100%.
No, I mean, no matter what Kendrick said or put out, I thought the timing of it was dope. It's kind of like if, Head, if you DJing and somebody bump your table and fuck up your needle and the record jump, the energy is completely different in the room at the party. So I think that's what Kendrick did. He bumped the needle, the record jumped, and it was kind of like, okay, people kind of like, but not only the record jump, my record comes on. You know what I'm saying? So I thought the timing, I thought the strategy of what Kendrick did to me was dope. Like, okay, I get it. But again, I'm going back just as a music head, as a consumer of hip hop and listening to bars and raps. And once I listen to that, I don't care when the record dropped, how it dropped. In the moment, I understand.
Especially if they're unproven.
Do I think domestic abuse allegations in a battle are too far?
Unproven.
Unproven?
Yes. I think everyone can say proven domestic violence is fair in a battle.
Maybe, yeah. I guess. I think that anything you start talking about, when you start talking about somebody's family and things like that, may be a line that may be too far. But then again, this is rap hip hop, but I don't think that there's any line as far as calling somebody a pedophile. I think that's the worst thing you can put on anybody's show.
And we're going to get to that.
We'll get to that, but
do you think that domestic violence allegations are okay in a rap battle?
It's nuance.
Define nuance in this situation.
It depends on what the line is and what the rules of engagement are.
Drake, I think, directly said that Kendrick had beat his girl.
Then was it warranted?
I don't know. Because I don't know. Yeah. Do you think unproven domestic violence is okay to put in a battle?
I think anything is okay as long as both parties are cool with what the outcome. Like, you know how like the YNs be like, hey, let's meet up and die.
Yeah.
If both of y'all are cool with dying.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying like.
No, I get your point. I actually do get your point.
If me and you are okay with dying, then nothing's off the table.
Right, it's all good.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's only a problem if one party disagrees to the terms.
Okay. With that said, do you think Drake is a pedophile?
Do I think he's a what?
Do you think Drake is a pedophile?
No.
By definition, no.
Okay.
By what? So not by definition, but by what? Because it sounds like you think he's a pedophile by something else.
That's not what I said.
I said it sounds like.
That's not what I said. I don't take credit for anything I don't say.
Okay. So you don't think Drake is a pedophile by the definition of a pedophile?
Correct.
Okay.
I hate, this is just going to demonetize us immediately. And it's going to make my algorithms crazy. All right, see, don't whack 100 me where you know the age of consent in every state.
Okay, fine.
I think below,
to answer
below
the layman answer.
And we also know as like moral fiber what.
Yeah, cause listen, there was an old video of Drake, allegedly kissing a 16-year-old girl on stage in Canada, even though the age of consent, well, I think the legal age, it does start at 16 in Canada. So people do have to give him, I guess they were giving him some kind of grace because she was 16. And in Canada, 16 is the legal age. But over here in America, the legal age is 18. So a lot of people was looking at that and was saying that, oh, this nigga is nasty as hell. Because why the hell are you kissing a 16-year-old girl on stage? But we got to realize that he was in Canada when he did it. So I still think he a nasty nigga, though. Like, because if you guys are Drake fans like me or whatever, I see his fan base. I think it was, matter of fact, it was in For All the Dogs, right? For All the Dogs, where he had where there were a lot of songs in that album where he's talking about a girl that's 20, 23, 24, 21, 25. And you listen to these songs and you're wondering, yo, the nigga Drake is 37. You 37 in the club messing with these 21, 22-year-olds. You damn near a billionaire messing with 20-year-olds. A lot of these girls that you messing with were probably in middle school when you made Best I Ever Had. A lot of these new fan bases, they were probably elementary school or in middle school when he made Thank Me Later. I think Thank Me Later was his first album, was his first studio album. It was Thank Me Later, then it was Take Care. I think Take Care was his second album. Yeah, so a lot of these new fan bases wasn't even young enough or old enough to know the amount of albums you created before they turned 21, 22. So when you're messing with these young girls, it makes us question what the hell you really like. And another thing is when your ass decided to, I guess a video of your private parts, because we're on YouTube, or your private parts gets blasted on the internet, and instead of it getting taken down, you claim it. You don't hide from it. And I thought it was a lot weird when there were actually men recreating that bullshit that you put out. So I thought it was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane what was going on, bro.
What a kid is and what a kid isn't.
The layman answer, Rory, is no.
Okay. And I believe you did answer it in if everyone's ready to die, everything's off the table. But you think pedophilia is okay to be brought up in a battle?
I think if I do discuss with you, hey, this is a line. Mm-hmm. My earlobes are off limits, and I violate the sanctity of that. Let's meet up and die.
Okay.
Maul?
I'm mad at that.
Thoughts?
Any thoughts?
On what he just said?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Drake can't bring up Kendrick being a woman beater, that he beats his wife, and then then Drake get mad that you bring up that you're a pedophile. Because you know what? Maybe you're not a pedophile, by definition. Maybe you're not. But we can think of you as a creep. We can't think of you as a guy who gets off at messing with younger women. Women of legal age, we can't forget that. Women of legal age, but 15 years younger than you, maybe, yeah, you a nasty nigga. Just like we look at Shannon. And, oh boy, we gonna get to Shannon, crazy ass. We gonna get to Shannon. And Bill Belichick, and his crazy self has a 24-year-old girlfriend, and he's 74. But, come on.
I mean, that's fair. If he feels like, again, if there was a conversation and, certain things were deemed off limits, if somebody violates, the terms of the conversation, I think all bets are off. There's no rules of engagement. Everything is, fair game.
Yeah.
I just think, just where I think your moral compass kicks in at some point. And it's just certain things certain energies I just wouldn't invite into, my music and things like that. And I just think, just that word is something that I just would never throw around unless it was absolutely definitively true. Like, then cool. But if not, I don't think you play with that word at all.
I think that's the difference, though.
What?
The nuance of, I want to say, like, cultural prowess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, people who don't understand certain things.
Here's my thing, not to cut you off. If Kendrick, again, I've never had a conversation with Kendrick about any of this shit, but if he feels like Drake is indeed a pedophile, how long did he feel like that? How long did he, think Drake was a pedophile? And why has he done music with somebody he thinks is a pedophile? No, I'm not saying, I'm not.
Dog, come on, ayo. Ma. The last song that Kendrick did with Drake was damn near 10 years ago. Damn near 10 years ago, that was the last time he did anything with Drake. You understand? It was been a long history of them. When we thought they were supposed to do music together, they didn't. It was Kendrick and Cole that I guess they had the album out or whatever. But no, there was a long for a lot of years where Kendrick didn't do anything with Drake. And we think that there's a reason why Kendrick wasn't on anything with Drake since Problems. Y'all look up how old that song Problem is with A$AP Rocky with 2 Chainz. You know what I'm saying? With Drake and Kendrick. Y'all look up how old that song is. And then y'all tell me how long ago that's been.
I'm telling you the answer. I would just say, to me, it's just like, if we know, we come from a certain area, we see, we don't even play with that word. Because where we from, we know what happens to those type of people. We see people creating content online or meeting up with people that's trying to meet up with kids and have sex, beat them up, whatever. So in this battle, to introduce that energy against someone and you don't know if it's facts or not, you may just feel like it is for whatever reasons, whatever conversations you're privy to. My thing is, how long did you feel like that?
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like, how long did you feel
let me
like
ask Maul a question.
Yeah.
Maul is beefing with Joe Budden.
Mm-hmm.
What's off limits?
What's off limits?
What's off limits?
Nothing is off limits.
Nothing is off limits.
Yeah.
So let's meet up and die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So by that standard, then you can't say, well, that goes against my moral compass and all. Like, you just said nothing is off limits.
Right.
So that's what that.
You're right, and I understand that, but when it comes to that, and we both have children,
mm-hmm.
right? So we can at one point in our lives be ready to die and crash out. We'll burn all this shit down. But now when we're fathers
mm-hmm.
and we have children, we don't think the same anymore. We don't speak the same anymore. We look at life totally different. We're more, we're different versions of what we used to be, because
Maul don't have any children for him to say anything like that. I'm pretty sure he has nieces and nephews, and I'm pretty sure but Maul, you don't even have children for you to even say anything like that. for you to try and control what somebody else does because they have kids. Absolutely not.
Again, you have children, and
absolutely not.
You understand how sacred that is, and you know how precious children are. So yeah, we could be in this situation where we ready to go all out, but at some point you got to be like, nah, I ain't doing that though.
You just brought up kids. Who brought the kids up first?
No, I understand what you're saying in the timeline of things. I understand what you're saying.
So then,
but even in that,
you don't get the right to dictate anything beyond that point.
I'm not trying to dictate shit. I'm just saying, at some point, you have to say, all right, what I'm saying is the worst thing you could say about somebody. That better be a fact. Because once you do that, once you label somebody that, again, somebody call somebody a rat, we know what can happen when you just call somebody a snitch. Coming from Carson, coming from New York. We know what can happen. A pedophile is worse than all of that shit.
Okay.
So when you label a man that, I would just think that you would have to be 1,000% correct in what you're saying and have facts on that before you throw it out there. And I do understand there's no rules once you say, oh, you know, my manager might be my kid's father. Cool. Disrespectful.
So no, not disrespectful. Again, you're trying to mitigate how one perceives the disrespect. You don't have the privilege of doing that.
Yeah,
if I tell somebody,
you can't control how somebody reacts to how you disrespect them. How you gonna do that? You just sat up there and you called me a woman beater. You told me that my manager and my wife may have a child together. Like, no, you ain't gonna control what how I react to what I feel is disrespectful. No, I don't care how bad it is. I don't care how bad my response to it is. There's no way that Drake should be thinking like that. Talking about, oh, why the hell you call me a pedophile? Nigga, you for one, you told me that you're telling me that my son may not be mine because you're looking at pictures of me not holding my son, even though my son is in the pictures with me, that because you're looking at that, and then you're trying to put out there that Dave Free and Whitney had his son or whatever. And then you turn around talking about, I beat my wife. I'm a woman beater. You can't now turn around and tell me how I should respond to that. Nigga, if I call you a pedophile, that's what it is. But then, no, you can't disrespect me first. Then I disrespect you worse. Because what I said was worse than what you said, now you don't want to play no more. Because what I said was worse than what you told me, now it's disrespectful. No, bro. That's not how that works. And that's not how we play that game.
If Absolutely I walk outside right now and I tell somebody SMD, I have to be ready for whatever. I can't be like, oh, I got a kid and you got a kid. Let's think about it.
Oh, no, Drake was ready for them. Obviously, he's the one that said.
So then at that point, there's no more discussion. Let's meet up and die.
I get that. But here's the problem is now, when this is a record that you are like grandstanding and this is a message that you are displaying to the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like you got your Super Bowl show and you got the Amazon show and you're doing stadiums and things like that. And this is the record that is like, you know, that's where to me it's like, okay.
I just made a better record than you.
If that's the line you want to stand on, cool. Listen, it's a battle. We pick sides. Who you think won, who you think lost, great. I'm just saying now that all of that is kind of like over. Well,
would you feel the same way if Family Matters became what Not Like Us is?
About the line of Dave Free being...
He performing at the Super Bowl claiming that my kids ain't mine, his kids ain't his.
But I've said that. I was like, yo, he better have some information we don't have because that's crazy to put on somebody.
That's not what I asked you. What I asked you is, do you feel the same way if Family Matters becomes what Not Like Us is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
No, my moral compass is set to where it's set to. It's certain things to me that I'm just like, all right, like you gonna say that, you got to stand on that.
So you being from where you're from and me being from where I'm from, we have a certain level of, I call it texture, which I don't necessarily know how to describe it. You can tell when somebody is not authentically of that texture because they...
Of what texture?
You come from a certain environment where you operate in a certain space, code of conduct. For instance, and I've spoken this, like, that's why I conduct myself a certain way. I can't get on the internet, on the radio, on television, and just crash out. I can't say what I want. That's another gripe I have. We can get to that later, but I can't just say whatever I want because I have people that if certain people call my phone, I have to answer the phone. Like there's no like I have checks and balances. Because I don't get the freedom to just say whatever the fuck I want.
I'm done with this. Listen, there's all right. So I do want to talk about. There's a bar that they haven't gone to yet. They talk about Family Matters already, right? Yeah. So they spoke about Family Matters already. Listen, we all know this battle. This battle was bigger than a Jay-Z or Nas. I was old enough to witness that, and I was old enough to witness the divide it had between fans. Because there was a lot of people that chose a side. And remember, I was still living in Massachusetts at the time when the battle happened. So, of course, that's not only was that a regional thing, that was a cultural thing. Because you got to remember, Jay-Z and Nas at the time of the battle were two of the biggest rappers in hip-hop. Even though the majority of the big rappers reside in New York. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but that battle was absolutely 100% huge. So now, and of course, we get we get Jada Kiss and Beans, in which I thought that's probably one of the biggest upsets in battle rap history when it comes to battles, like between Beans, because occasionally Jay-Z told Beans, "Hey yo, get him, go ahead get him," and Beans got him. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely one of the biggest upsets in battle rap history when it comes to the mainstream artists, right? So I was alive, so I'm old enough to see that. So then here comes this battle. And this battle, to me, this was like Prince versus Mike. Jay-Z versus Nas, like Big versus Tupac. Like, it's on that level. When two guys has been deemed as the big three since 2008, 2009, 2010, that's how long they've been at the top of rap. So then it was a time where, Kendrick just fell off the face of the earth for years. He didn't drop no music, ain't drop no verses, and people were looking for him. Couldn't find him. So then out of nowhere, he drops with Baby Keem. Just out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So, but a lot of people, really deem him as still one of the top rappers, today. And even after this battle, he's placed top 5 all time, even after this battle. Especially not only if you're a Kendrick Lamar fan, but if you're a fan of rap, period. So, but I think, and the part that a lot of people are not saying, I think the biggest mistake in this battle that Drake made was the line that he had in Family Matters where rapping like he trying to get the slaves free. And I don't know what if you're talking about he's rapping like an activist, tell me a line or tell me songs in where he's rapping like he's trying to get the slaves free. Because I've listened back to Pimp a Butterfly, and There's nowhere in there. I mean, if you're listening to Pimp a Butterfly, then you have that album totally misconstrued with what that album was about. I had nothing to do with slaves. If you're talking about the album, the Black Panther album, then all right, cool. But that's a collab album in which even though Kendrick was 100% involved, like he was the executive producer for that album. But in retrospect, there's a different artist on every song on that album. But it sounds that rapping like he's trying to get the slaves free was it was tone deaf, damn near. It's tone deaf. It almost sounds like Culture Vulture-ish. Because if you out here, if you telling somebody that they're rapping like you trying to get the slaves free, then how you rapping? What you rapping like? I just felt like, and then if he don't say that bar right there, that bar was the reason Not Like Us was birthed. Because, nigga, you not of the culture. Like, you not like us. That's why that whole third verse exists. Because people want to stick on the part of him being a pedophile. Well, what about the second verse? What about what you did to Lil Wayne? What about what you and Sierra, and you calling out Sierra's husband out of nowhere? What about all the other things that you like? Why ain't nobody speaking about the second verse of Not Like Us? Why is everybody stuck on the pedophile part? That's just my thing in all this. But I just say this, man. I think, Kendrick absolutely 100% smoked. He smoked Drake's boots, and a year later, I think the same thing. But listen, Shannon Sharpe. Now, I don't know how true this is, but before we get to that video, there's something that I want to get to with Shannon. And he is a graduate of Savannah State. He went to an HBCU. And I don't know, bro. To me, dog, it looks like he's not in tune. He's not culturally in tune. Like, he has great memory. He has great storytelling ability. My man here is doing the electric slide, bro. Like, hold on. No video. Like, what do we, like, what is this? Dog, what the hell is he doing? No, what the hell is he doing? What is that? Can we repeat that again? Now your women's selection is on par with how this electric slide looks. Because this looks absolutely hideous. You see how everybody's just cool with their arms? You are the only person moving your arms up and down like this. I hear sliding like, are you moving like, listen, I know you have 2 repaired hips. I know that, I know that. But I don't know if it has anything to do with how you move your arms, bro. Like, look at this. Like, what are we doing here? Come on, you're the only person that's trying to absolutely, like, go hard with the slides, bro. Like, you ain't even doing it smooth, bro. You ain't even moving like you graduated from an HBCU, dog. You ain't moving like that. I'm having a hard time understanding that, bro. Like, come on, dog. You making it look bad. Like, look at this. Bro, look at this. Look at how you move. Shannon, come on, dog. Like, come on, bro. Like, look at this. You moving like you have to try to move. With your lips too, look. Look at his lips. Oh, look at like he's trying. Oh my God, but dog, he's moving like. Okay, yeah, but let's. But look, hold on. We gotta get to what went down this past weekend because.
Asked me to.
Hold on. We gotta get to now. I don't know how true this is. But so apparently this girl right here is one of Shannon's exes. And her name is Rochelle. And we all know what happened last year with the IG video when he's saying Michelle's name or whatever. So I'm having a hard time believing this, but I don't know because listen, maybe both. I don't know who to believe. I don't know what to believe, but I don't even know if this is on par with Shannon. Please tell me this ain't true, bro. Like, please tell me this ain't, like, this is true or not. Now, he ain't came out and said anything. Nobody said anything, but now, matter of fact, before we even play that, there's a video of what he did when he was on the show with Skip. And we're going to look at that for a moment.
Nah, I was once dating this chick, right, Skip, and she was married, but she was getting a divorce. I knew I wanted her. I said, you know what? I'll pay for the divorce because I believe she was the one.
What do you mean by that?
That's what I did. I said, why you arguing about this? He wouldn't sign the papers. I said, why you arguing about this little bit of money? I gave her the money, filed the divorce because I believe if they believed in Baker Mayfield, they would.
Now, listen to that, and then we about to watch what we're going to listen to, what we're about to listen to with this interview. I don't know, bro. I honestly don't know. I don't know.
He had asked me to break up with my husband at the time. We were just dating, so I was dating Shannon and my husband at the same time. Shannon asked me to break up with my husband, and I don't recall for sure, but I think I did. And so, it's like, wait a minute, you want me to be with just you, but you want to move somebody into your house and not even tell me? So that's what it stemmed from. He's not a faithful person, so I wasn't going to be faithful to a non-faithful person. It just doesn't work that way. Not for me anyway.
Can you tell us just broadly, I know it's probably painful to relive this situation, but can you tell us generally what happened that day?
It was fighting, and usually we fought on the phone and not in person. So it was the biggest argument that we ever got in. And he was controlling, he was domineering, he was manhandling me beforehand, and he wanted to have sex, and I told him no. I told him no, because you gave it to somebody else. I didn't only tell him no, I told him why. And he wouldn't take no for an answer. So he overpowered me, put me to my knees, put his penis in my mouth.
Oh my
God. After he got enough of that, he put me on the bed. And, this was all a struggle.
I'm going to ask something that might be a little sensitive or might sound insensitive, I should say. But I'm going to go ahead and ask it because it's a question that I'm sure people are wondering. Why didn't you file a police report when he raped you?
Because I was scared for my life. He said he would use it. Everybody he knows, and he knows lots of police officers. So I didn't know that if I went down there, that would be one of the people that he knows. Atlanta has a problem with corruption down there. And I was too scared to go to the police. Because when this happens, you're in a trauma mindset. You're not in a, every day you and I are talking here like, oh, okay, well, maybe I should do that. No, you're like fear for your life. You're traumatized. you know, you're not thinking straight. You're having anxiety and panic attacks. Like, and I was worried that he would, you know, get a hold of this police officer, and who knows what would happen. And so it was just a decision, and it's a decision a lot of rape victims make, to not go to the police. They always say the woman is crazy. You know, hey, I might be at this point after everything I've dealt with.
Listen, I don't know how true this is. I don't know. But listen, Shannon has... Okay, yeah, like, you don't like black women. And, yeah, man, like, you should just accept that by now. Like, you just don't date black women, and that's cool. But your taste in women is like, this big dog. I'm just saying. Like, I think your taste in women needs to be better. I think you have too much money. Like, you at least have a good roster, bro. Like, at least have a good, like, I know you coming from the bottom of the bottom when it comes to Georgia. I know you come from, like, the wilderness of the South. Like, you ain't had no hot water. You ain't really have a bed to sleep in. Like, I know you grew up poor. So I understand that your taste might be a little off, but you're not used to seeing the girl that's used to seeing. But for you, big dog, you live a private life, and I know this. And you might, I don't know, I think Shannon just might have, like, the biggest fall off that I've ever seen. Matter of fact, I want to show y'all something. Hold on. Because I think this is something that is, like, I think it's something that needs to be seen. And hold on. What's it? Nightcap. This is something that needs to be, well, we know it's been addressed already. But I want to show y'all something. Right? So before this is before the allegations. Hold on. This is before the allegations, right? Let me see. This is before the allegations. Now you see the DraftKings. Let me see. Hold on.
Is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high-stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw-dropping plays. I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, draft for NBA player props, and that doesn't stop now. Want to make your first play customers to get 2 by 6 months on their best unlimited plans. To my board.
Yep, hello. So you see the Boost Mobile ad, you see the Boost Mobile in the back, you see DraftKings right there, right? We see that, right? Now we're gonna look into what it looks like for him now. Hold on. Now I want to show y'all what it looks like for him currently. I don't even know if they lost any subscribers in the last let's do anything random after, let me see. See that? No DraftKings. You see no DraftKings at the top? You see the beginning now? No ads. No ads now.
And the Bingo Ring of Fame honoree, the Pro Bowl.
And you see where that Corey Dillon jersey is covering the Boost Mobile sign? Yeah. And we go from that to, I don't know, bro. And and we know for damn sure that we may not see him on ESPN again. But I think it's a long time before we see him on ESPN. We'll see what happens. But I do want to say, man, that listen, I think it's gonna be tough. But hold on. Before we get to that. But yeah, I just think that Shannon, I don't know if Shannon we have seen the last big jump from Shannon Sharpe, bro. Especially with these allegations that's coming out now. I just think that it's just a lot to handle. It's a lot to deal with. But we gonna see, man. But it's the last thing that I want to talk about today. Last thing, man. Anthony Edwards. I think Anthony Edwards might be the new face of the league. He just might be. It's not to say that he's the best player, because I don't think he's the best player. Like you got you have Jokic, you have SGA, LeBron is still in the league. You got Steph Curry, KD. Like you have the. Listen, I think Jason Tatum should be the new face of the league, and they were trying to give it to John Morant before he got in trouble. But listen, Edwards, bro, Anthony Edwards, with his charisma, with the way he plays, with how he talks, like, dude, Anthony Edwards is so cold, bro. And he's 22, 23. They're about to play the winner of the Warriors and Rockets. I give the Wolves an absolute great chance to beat either one of those teams. But Anthony Edwards, bro, is on a whole different level, bro. But I didn't even know that he had his own YouTube channel. So year 5 with Anthony Edwards, I thought this was interesting because I just wanted to see it. But Anthony Edwards, bro, we here.
The inbound will come 5 seconds away. Here it goes. The Western Conference champions are the Dallas Mavericks. They're going to the NBA Finals. Dallas was too much, and they take this series 4 games to 1.
Class act here by the fans here, supporting this very young Minnesota Timberwolves team with a nice chant.
He remembered that moment.
Well, here we go. The Timberwolves are heading west to Los Angeles.
Lakers versus Timberwolves. Nothing beats playoff basketball, y'all.
The vibes of the fan base right now are amazing. We won't smoke with anyone, okay? I don't care if my mom was a Laker fan. I got smoke for her.
The Ant-Man is coming.
Welcome, everyone, to Los Angeles, a city fueled by star power. Anthony Edwards, hotter than fish grease, and it's all coming up good for the Timberwolves. Wet, cash out.
If you're going to talk about heartbreak, you got to think about the history of Minnesota sports.
Last year, I got so frustrated with Minnesota sports.
What do you mean,
yeah, it's every
son of a bitch. Oh my gosh.
Even going back to 1960 when the Minneapolis Lakers moved to Los Angeles and we lost the NBA after George Mikan and that group winning 5 NBA championships. And it was heartbreaking for Minnesota fans. I mean, to lose your franchise like that. And then, of course, as a kid growing up, you know, I grew up in the time of the Minnesota Vikings, the Purple People Eaters, and 4 Super Bowl losses as well kind of adds to the angst that we have. When I first started broadcasting and Kevin Garnett was here.
Garnett beneath the foul line, the fadeaway with a hand in his face in the air for the win.
That 8-year run of making the playoffs every year was because Kevin Garnett was so great. He carried Minnesota into the playoffs. You go 16 years in the desert with no successful teams. To be able to have a run like that last year reminded me of 2003, 2004. The way that the energy in the building again, and the way that Ant went at KD.
You know, they got KD, but we got Jaden McDaniels.
Edwards. Anthony Edwards trying to make a name for himself in the postseason.
I like that shit. I like that type of talk, dog. I love that type of talk.
With the favorite in this series trailing. They are geared up for tonight. LeBron James 3. Lakers are going to win it by 9.
Welcome to Minneapolis. Playoff basketball returns to the Twin Cities Target Center's packed layup. Banks it home. Edwards against Finney Smith. Step back, jump shot. Got it! Anthony Edwards, another clutch shot. Largest lead of the game.
Alex and Mark take one.
Mark Lowry and Alex Rodriguez.
Mark and A-Rod
will become new owners of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
What do you remember about the first time you met Ant?
Well, for me, he had no idea who the hell I was.
Who is he?
The baseball player, Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, no, I don't know who that is.
Damn! That's how I know he's young as hell. He's young as hell. That's how I know.
It's funny because the one person he reminds me of is a guy that I came up loving and admiring and was a great mentor to me, and that's Kirby Puckett.
Back is Puckett. He's at the fence. He leaps up. He caught it.
He was always happy. He won 2 titles here. He was a center fielder. You know, what Kirby Puckett did is he gave people in Minnesota hope.
I signed a 5-year contract, and I was a Twin for the rest of my career. So.
I think Ant gives you that same hope.
You have to know the culture you want to create, bring in players that align with that culture, and it's that continuity that brings out the magic, not sacrificing the short term for the long term. We want to create a sustainable culture of winning.
Playing for George Steinbrenner, what I learned is investing in the very best people, in the best culture, and making the players' experience one that makes them play at their highest level. But then there's elements that you see championship teams have year in and year out. Great teams never beat themselves, and great teams usually have great discipline. So if you always force the other team to have to beat you, and you have as much talent as them, then it's just math. There is a little bit of a culture shift when it comes to mentality, even from our fan base, because now, even though things are going well, they're like, okay, what's gonna happen?
Gonna drop?
Yeah, when is the shoe gonna drop?
Fans are great, especially around like crunch time, where it's like we gotta win this game to get in the playoffs, or like it get heated. Like the fans, they get better and better. So
he definitely gonna win.
I want to get used to, like I said, changing the culture and going to the playoffs, so the fans are always there.
He is one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet, but like Jordan, like Magic, he'll just rip your heart right out of your chest, and he is a killer.
This is what I was talking about the other day. We get a lead and get comfortable. Keep your foot on the gas.
If you look at it, I mean, the stats don't lie. Look at his three-point percentage, every year he's getting better. He's now on more than 10 attempts. He's over like with 39.5% from 3, right? His free throw percentage is getting better every year. The points every year.
Of course, I used to be one-dimensional, just handle the ball all day, try to create shots for myself. But like I said, I've gotten better and better being able to move without the ball, cut, screen for my teammates, and get other guys open.
He's obsessed about improving, and he's putting the work in to support it and back it up.
Back at it again here this afternoon. Lakers and Timberwolves game 4. Handle left open. This one back goes down. Edwards drives. Inside, McDaniels on the slam. Razzle dazzle inside layup. Banks ahead. Nice read. 3-pointer. Puts it in. DiVincenzo inside. Layup is good.
My name is Jabbar Gillette. I am the Vice President of Sports Science and Performance for the Minnesota Timberwolves. My role is multifaceted. There's many aspects of performance. Not only strength and conditioning, what's going on in the weight room, but you're also looking at nutrition and mental performance, and all of these aspects come together on the court. And so I like to use what I call a transferable strength index. This is multiple variables that then transfer onto the court. Anthony is above and beyond at the top. He jokes around that he could play football.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But I believe if he trained specifically for that sport, he could. Why? Because he has good hips. His step back his ability to decelerate on a dime and create separation, that's a function of strength. The ability to do that without knee pain, that's the work in the weight room. And then his explosiveness, right? Modifying things in season, all of a sudden now, you're heading into the playoffs and you're maximizing your explosiveness. A lot of that is to the credit of the work in the weight room.
My range would be crazy for next year.
What was the biggest thing you learned in the playoffs, Hank?
In the playoffs?
Yeah.
We gotta be in shape, bro. It's not something you can train for until you go through it, though. Like,
right.
Yeah, you can't train for playing in June.
Right.
If you haven't, you know what I mean?
You ain't never done it.
Now you know how to train for it.
Right.
Yeah. Now I see why the be missing all those games.
Right.
It all starting to make sense now.
And they sense.
What? I had no legs in the conference finals, bro. I ain't have nothing. The first day of shoot around after we beat Denver.
Yep.
I knew it was ugly.
I
was shooting. I ain't have no length on my jumper.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, this finna be
It was
ugly.
short. It was short.
Yeah. We'll be back though. We're gonna be back for sure.
I'm definitely thinking about the playoffs. Like, I gotta be ready to go. I'm not a big film guy. That's the thing. Like, and my coaches be getting mad at me because like I'm not a big film guy, but I don't really give a f. I'm not gonna lie. I be watching a lot of Luka tape. Like, he ISOs a lot, but he runs pick and roll a lot, and like he manipulated to where he can get his shot a whole bunch of times. And I'm like, bro, how he do that? So like just learning like the reads that he made from reading a low man to being able to throw the pass to Big Ruth or hitting the corner to Mike or Jaden. Like, so I definitely watch a lot of Luka because he makes like the defense do what he want them to do. And like, I gotta learn that a little more.
When you walk into the gym with your crew and you go, we got a chance to win every single night. That's how I feel every time when I walk into the gym with Ant. We all walk in a little bit taller, a little bit stronger, a little more confident because we always know we got that home run hitter on our side.
Boy, hey, he up next, dog. Did that.
Ant-Man, Batman, Superman, Lakers in 5. Hey, Drew, they hate to see me talk shit now, Drew. You ain't walking. Man, that boy. I'm minding my business, man. How y'all gonna be with me? I just sent y'all home. Man, they talking shit all week. Lakers in 5. And then look, when we was up 3-1, they said Lakers in 7. Go to hell today.
Go to
hey,
go to hell today.
Hey, the good guy gonna die in this movie. Tell you, the good guy gonna die in this movie.
Bro, we shot 7 for 47 from 3, and we beat Luka and LeBron. I think they the best closers in the game. So who the you worried about? Stephen A. had he had all the writers like that get a vote on ESPN. It was 7. They had Lakers in 6, Lakers in 7, Lakers in 5, Lakers in 4, Lakers in 5, Lakers in 6, Lakers in 5. None of that. Nobody had Wolves.
Nobody. Not one person.
You know what really turned me up, dog? You know what really turned me up? Paul Pierce. When Luka hit that 3 to tie the game up, I couldn't even feel my body. That was shaking, brother. That was shaking so crazy. But it was like 2K. I swear to God, bro. Yes, bro. That was shaking, bro. I swear to God, I was like, bro, what the f? I knew on the front row. He was like, "You're 0 for 11." I said, "And y'all finna lose."
Y'all still finna lose.
He said, "You're 0 for 11 from 3. Stop shooting." I said, "Y'all finna lose. Go home. Beat the traffic, man."
That boy Ant is the truth, man. That boy Ant's the truth. Hey, listen, I'm out of here. Listen, I want to say y'all happy Sunday. Appreciate y'all for watching. I don't know how many people were watching today, but listen.